All right. Giving all praises to the Most High God, Allah. I want to thank Him for all that He does, all that He is. He is the all in all of His mercy, His love, His guidance, His protection. Thank you. Welcome to Nia 2X TV, where thinking is valuable. That's our TF. TV, thinking is valuable. Make no mistake about it, right? And I dedicate this very first show on Nia 2X TV to my esteemed mother, the late, great Miss Beanie. Indeed, I dedicate this show to her. Today, on our first show, we are so happy to be here because when we say TV represents thinking is valuable, that's what it's all about. We're celebrating February 6th in the month of February, where the father of Black history, the late great Dr. Carter G. Woodson, wrote 16 books. And in his most famous book, The Miseducation of the Negro, he said, when a man can control your thinking, he doesn't have to worry about your actions. And that's why we say on Near 2X TV, thinking is valuable. We're not here to control your thinking at all. We're here to offer a perspective that is directly in the support and pouring into the knowledge of Black people first, and of course, humanity. We don't discriminate against anyone, but certainly as Black people, that's number one, where we aim our focus, our information, our intentions. We need to be a more thinking people, like the father of Black history, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, said we should be. My name is Nia 2X, and I'm here today, so delighted to be here to present in Black observation of Black history. And that, of course, is the month of February. But I'm so happy to be here because we have a fantastic guest. It's certainly not happy to be here because I get to run my mouth. Mm-mm. It's about bringing information and helping our people, first and foremost, again, to be those that are not only thinkers, but critical thinkers. Well, how can we think critically if we don't have the issues, if we don't have the stories, if we don't have valuable information that not only helps us to think, but when we think, we learn. And after we learn, we begin to grow into more knowledge. And that's why I am excited today with our guest who is here, a brother, a man, a reverend, a person in the community that is boots on the ground, if you will, fighting, standing up for God's justice. He's my Christian brother. I'm getting to know him even more and more. And it is my pleasure to introduce him to many, but a lot of people know of his work and the work of his father, indeed, here in the DC area. That's where we broadcast from, Washington, D.C. So, without further ado, I'm here to introduce, and as my first guest, his name is Reverend George Gilbert Jr. And again, around the DC area, well known, always in the action. If it has anything to do with liberation, if it has anything to do with civil and human rights, if it has anything to do with standing up and putting in his part to ensure that God's justice is on its way to prevail again, not just for Black people, but for humanity. And our subject that we're talking about with Reverend George Gilbert Jr. is a subject that we all, especially Black people, We need to know the facts. And that is about the ongoing successful boycott of Target. That's right, the boycott of Target. Without further ado, my brother, Reverend George Gilbert, welcome and thank you for being our very first guest here on Near 2X TV. Peace, brother.
Hello there. I was having a little problems with the internet, but I am excited to always be in your presence. Here, 2X, who is a beloved sister to me, and you've been in the struggle a long time, and I commend you and I celebrate you for being in the struggle, not giving up, and being a voice for the voiceless. And I commend you as you are growing. We did a interview a few months ago, and we were doing it, I believe, audio, and now you've grown, and I understand that this is your first time on this platform, and I am honored to be your first guest. I am here representing the Center for Racial Equity and Justice, in which I am the executive director. I'm also a preacher at the Holy Trinity United Baptist Church here in Washington, D.C. And what we just try to do is we represent God with a view, a theological view from the bottom up, that we are trying to help those that are the least, the lost, and the left out. Those that can't find a voice, there's no room for their voice. And so we try to create a voice for them to come in the rooms that they are not necessarily welcomed in. And so we thank you for allowing us to have this platform to speak out against racism, which is the sin of America. And we are tagging this, or we're targeting Target as the symbol of this racism that we see even today. There on the news, we see Donald Trump depicting uh, former President Obama and former First Lady Obama as apes, and we're talking about the President of the United States depicting Black people as apes, and there is no outrage among businesses or among uh, those who are receiving government contracts, those who are uh, politicians, and those who associate themselves with this president. And so, what we have been doing, and I'll just stop, is that we have been for a whole year um, here in DC. For a whole year, we have been showing up from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Saturdays, rain, sleet, or snow. For a whole year, we have shown up and boycotted and had a picket line to boycott Target.
Just absolutely, I want to congratulate you. Thank you for your accolades upon myself. All praises are due to Allah, God, indeed. And I want to also congratulate the picket line, those that are out there standing up, boycotting Target with consistency. And
Yes,
yes, we couldn't ask for a better guest because most people are not aware of the success of 1 year, despite the weather, no excuses to come up against a corporate giant because of their inability to be justified in removing diversity, equity, and inclusion, well known as DEI, when they made the commitment
right,
to have diversity, equity, and inclusion after the brutal death of George Floyd in
That's right.
2020. Corporate America, not just Target, but corporate America, and Target was part of it, of promising, if you will, real wealth that would be coming into the Black community. And you're here to help give the background, because a
Yeah.
lot of people they would support if brothers and sisters, for an example, and even people of goodwill would support the Target boycott for the removal of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, if we knew what you are going to share with us.
Yeah.
Why Target?
So after the George Floyd's murder, Target had come in and committed um, to be a partner to the Black community in supporting Black-owned businesses. And so, one of the things that you could really see is that they had Black business sections in Target, minority business sections, and people who had small businesses. They were supporting Black-owned businesses. They also were advancing Black employees. They had promised to basically help with the gap in wealth and started to advance Black employees. And then they were enhancing the inclusivity and actually um, investing or saying that they would invest in our community and banks and business as well as colleges. Um, and then uh, Donald Trump came into his second term and said that they were
His
going to
first
do
term,
away.
wasn't it? His first term.
First term, yes, first term. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Said that they were going to do away with DEI, and Target decided to join in doing away with DEI. And so all of the things that they had promised after the George Floyd murder, now they have backtracked and turned their back on our community. And
Let's
so,
stop right there. Let's stop right there. Those are really, really critical points. And I want to be clear. If you're just tuning in, our guest is Reverend George Gilbert Jr. He's the pastor here in Washington, D.C. And I'm not going to mess up the name of your church and like that. Because I'm really supposed to have my glasses on.
that's fine.
So,
It's fine.
oh, thank you. But we're here talking about the questions that people are asking in the streets. And they're valid questions. They're good questions. They're intelligent questions. You should question something, not just join the boycott because you see brothers and sisters in the line in the boycott. You deserve to know the two principles, the truth and the facts. Why are we doing what we're doing? And I really should take we out of that, because really the accolades go to Reverend Gilbert, Pastor Fears, and many, 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 many others that held it up in Washington, D.C. at the Target every Saturday. I've only been there very few times. I had heard about it mid-summer, and I finally attended in the fall of 2025 and saw everything was legit and was just shocked of how many people were out there. In fact, that day, sir, it was Pastor Jamal Bryant, who came from Atlanta, Sister Tamika Mallory, who came from, I believe, New York. And the crowd was enormous. The fever was hot. Sister Ayana Gregory set it off, and it was very successful. So for a
Yeah.
whole year, I want to congratulate you and those mentioned and those that are not mentioned that know they have been there. We're not doing this to be mentioned. We're doing this to push back at Target, the mega giant corporation who made promises to we sisters and brothers, as Reverend Gilbert has just explained. Let's
So
get there for a
Let me
minute. Go
just
ahead, sir.
let me just say that I am just really a supporter of this. The two main leaders, and we don't in our here in DC. We don't worry about names and who's called and who's not called. But I want to say that the two leaders of this movement here of showing up every Saturday has been Pastor Patty Fears, as well as Pastor Christopher Zacharias. One is a Baptist lady preacher, and one is an AME Zion pastor. And so, and I am a Baptist, and so we're working together as leaders in the community, not for the name recognition, as they are the leaders, but because I have this organization, I'm able to bring it to a further light um, on different platforms. But I am in full support as a soldier in the army, and I just wanted to say that this call of boycott was called by Dr. Jamal Bryant, and he had four demands for Target. Number one, to honor the $2 billion pledge that they had pledged after the George Floyd death. That came out of their mouth, to honor what they said they would do. And we in the Black community believe that our word is our bond. And so they had committed to a $2 billion pledge to the Black business community through products, services, and Black media buys. The second thing that Dr. Bryant called for is to deposit $250 million in any of the 23 Black banks. So instead of doing business with the Jewish banks of America, to do business with Black banks, just 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 $250 million.
Hmm.
All right.
Yes, sir.
The third ask or demand was completely restore the franchise's commitment to DEI. And then the fourth and the last is to have a pipeline uh, between community centers at 10 HBCUs to reach retail business at every level.
And these are the facts that we need. Those demands are beyond reasonable, and those demands don't help individuals. They help our nation within
Right,
a nation. They help our people.
right,
You mentioned HBCUs, Black-owned banks, Black newspapers, the Black media, and businesses. And as you had mentioned,
right.
people were going into Target and working there and accelerating, not just pushing the computer, taking your money and bagging up your items, but making critical
Yeah,
decisions from their communities. And this is how we move up as a people. Here is an organization, Target, who was really doing the right thing after that horrible,
right.
sick murder in front of the world. If you remember, the entire world reacted, not just blacks, the entire world reacted when we watched our brother lose his life in such a critical, horrible, demeaning, barbaric way. And we're talking about George Floyd. And it just brought humanity together because you know for yourself, Reverend, the marches from the 60s and even other marches prior to the 1960s civil rights movement mostly comprised of Black men, women, and children. But we're seeing a surge of other nationalities, and a lot of it was during the George or the aftermath of the brutal murder
Yeah.
of George Floyd. You see the ranks now, people of goodwill, not just Black people, are coming out, and when we are focusing on Black issues with DEI, as you were mentioning, this interview is focusing primarily with Black people. DEI doesn't actually cover just Black people, but
Right.
for the sake of this interview, we're talking about our family and our extended family, because we want our family to join the ranks.
Yeah.
Now, I understand, join the ranks of the boycott. I understand last weekend that the 14th Street Northwest boycott of Target expanded. Tell us about your 1 year anniversary and the expansion. You're not just doing 14th Street. Now the groups are going elsewhere. Let
Yeah.
us hear about that, sir.
So we believe that there would be people to join us in different locations if we started to make it available to them. And so we're now looking at different sites where the Target is doing business, and we're going to start the boycott in different locations here in the district, Maryland and Virginia area. Let me tell you why it's important. It's important. Um, we since we have done started boycotting, and I'm saying we meaning Black Americans have started boycotting Target. Both foot traffic and online traffic are falling tremendously. Folks are not shopping there. Target's value has dropped by $2 billion since we've started in this year. Their value has dropped 2 billion. So they could have given us that 2 billion, but they were too mean and too racist to give, and I'm saying give, invest in the Black community. But as God would see fit, they have now lost the $2 billion because of our work. Second thing is their stock. The stock has declined by 57%. So let's look at that. Every dollar that they had a year ago has gone. 57 cents of that dollar has gone away, have depleted. 57
Uh,
cents of every dollar.
significant. That's more than half, a little more than half. And
Yeah,
it is not because of violence. It is not because of disparaging in anything negative. We are utilizing our united
right.
power
Now,
together.
now, now I said their value has dropped $2 billion, but they've lost since last January $4 billion.
Listen, brothers and sisters, boycott is effective. Boy,
They've lost for
that's a lot of wealth for not thousands, not millions, $4 billion.
right, and
Lord.
their CEO has had to take a tremendous pay cut.
So look, we're going to wrap it up. We're not going to stay that long. We have to do a part two. We have to be ongoing, informing by truth and facts,
Yes,
while you in the audience, if you don't want to come out in March, maybe you can't come out in March. Don't go to Target.
that's right.
Boycott Target. Follow the leaders that are out there giving us truth and facts, clarity, understanding that just holding your dollar. Now, we did have some issues as we wrap it up here on Near 2X TV, and I certainly want to thank you, my brother. Looking for you to come again, because we have to continue to update and keep people well informed. Uh, and we're going to make sure we get your contact information as we get ready to wrap it up. Um, I think he's off the screen. It's okay. I appreciate the warm welcome. Oh, good I'm grief. Ready whenever you are. This phone. I'm sorry. This
no
silly
problem.
phone. Ain't nobody has the phone.
This is your first show. Huh? So this is the first show. This is how it's supposed to be.
Okay. Well, give out any contact information because this is a national boycott.
Absolutely.
So, and I want to thank you. You were just perfect in giving us, turning on the light bulbs, letting us have an opportunity to see and understand our unity. Don't shop at Target.
That's right.
They owe us. They offered, how would you like me to offer you something and then decide to renege? And right. Whoever and why they're reneging, that's on them. If you want our dollars.
And let me just say this, please. Let me say this.
Absolutely.
This is not just a Target thing. This is systemic racism. I just met with Kaiser. Asked them to partner with us in health equity issues. You know what they told me? They said, Reverend Gilbert, we would love to work with you, but you got equity in your name. And our chairman said that we can't work with any DEI organizations. We have been partnering with DoorDash over the past since Obama was in office. And just today I got word that they're no longer going to be in partnership with us. This is not just a Target issue, but we're trying to make Target the example. And if we can knock down one of the biggest organizations like Target, then we can show the world that our dollars and our voice should be heard. So we're asking you, we're begging you to not shop there. Don't shop there. Just don't. You have other options on our website. We have Black businesses.
What is your website? What is your website?
Just go to the center. Google the Center for Racial Equity and Justice.
There you go.
Center for Racial Equity and Justice. On our website, we have a list of Black businesses from everything that you would imagine, and we vetted these businesses. It's not any shams or anything like that. There are businesses that you can have as alternatives instead of shopping at these places that hate Black people and our children.
And very well said. They're taking us for granted.
That's right.
Because we deserve. I think someone told me, and I have to fact check, that we as Black people give Target $12 million a day. So inshallah means, God willing, on the next show, I will either back that up to be truth. I've checked it out with 2 people, but I'm not completely satisfied that it is true. We're at the end of the show, and we want to thank you again, my brother, and thank those men and women and children that are joining the line. Thank the brothers and sisters, people of goodwill that have made a determination based on the information that you're receiving here or elsewhere. Because if we want a world of justice, rather, hey, especially Black people, Frederick Douglass said, power demands, what was that? Here I go again. Power concedes nothing without a demand.
That's
power
right.
Concedes nothing without a demand. So we have about 1 minute, and I want to thank you again. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank our producer, DJ Straight. And we look forward to our next program. And you're going out there tomorrow. I'm out of town tomorrow. Brother, march strong and keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for doing what you're doing. Boycott Target. Boycott Target. We ain't buying it.
That's right.
We ain't buying it. Come on. We ain't buying it. That's right. We ain't buying it.
That's right. That's right.
Peace.
God bless you.
You too, my brother.